Okay, welcome to the season finale edition of the Cavalier Insider Pregame Show. Andrew Packer and Jerry Ratcliffe. Week 12, it's the Commonwealth Cup at Scott Stadium. It's a 3:30 kickoff between Virginia and Virginia Tech for the home Cavaliers, out to break a number of streaks on Saturday. One of them is this season right now on an 8-game skid. Another one is in this series on a 9-game losing streak to the rival Hokies. And also for Virginia, trying to avoid a winless ACC season. For Virginia Tech, there is still something to play for. Should North Carolina knock off Duke, and I believe that game is at noon, so the Hokies will know their fate then, know their chances then. The Hokies will get to play in the ACC title game, win the Coastal, and take on Florida State the following week down in Charlotte. Still some storylines left in this one. Obviously, UVA gets to play the spoiler role, but it's gotten to that role because of some bad losses this season. Last week, no different. Hootie goes down to Miami and wins the yards battle by a significant margin. For the most part, I think the effort was pretty much there, despite kind of this tailspin of a season. But the bottom line is, like it has been a lot of this season, turnovers for the difference.
Yeah, they won most of the statistical categories, and like you said, they ran at will, it seemed like, against a very inept, I think, Miami defense that seems to be getting worse as the season goes along. But, it was the same old story for Virginia. It was one step forward, two steps back because of turnovers. Every time they did something good, it was negated by another turnover, which ended up not only costing them possession but cost them points. Mm-hmm. And anytime you're going to turn the ball over 3 or 4 times in a game, it doesn't matter probably who you're playing. You're usually going to lose. Yeah,
of those turnovers, 2 were returned. 4 touchdowns, including the opening play of the game. David Watford drops back for that dreaded bubble screen that has not really been effective all season for Virginia, and gets picked off by Tracy Howard, 19-yard interception return. And you're talking 6 seconds into this game, Virginia's already down a touchdown. A little later, Watford's pass to Zach Swanson, tipped off his hands, is intercepted and returned all the way back, I believe, to inside the 2-yard line before Jake McGee, showing some good hustle, gets a tackle there. Later in the game, Grayson Lambert is in. At this point, I think it's 38-20, so Virginia somewhat in striking distance, although it was late in the game, and he's down to the 10-yard line, gets sacked, loses a fumble. Miami recovers it for a 72-yard touchdown. So that was basically the difference. As you said, at the total yards battle, I mean, UVA wins that 483-304. You mentioned rushing yards. UVA runs for 243 on the ground. Kevin Parks goes for 100 yards again. So, there were some positives there, but again, the story of this season, turnovers not cashing in on UVA's takeaways. Anthony Harris, another interception in that game, and again, Virginia cannot score. 19 takeaways this season, only 13 points off of them for the Cavaliers. But the interesting sidebar to the game was Grayson Lambert came in at the end to relieve David Watford. I think fans have been wanting this for a couple weeks now to see what Grayson Lambert can do. David Watford, obviously, as a first-year starter, has had his struggles. Grayson Lambert comes as a redshirt freshman. Was against some of Miami's second-team defense. At the same time, sometimes it was the first-team D out there. He completes 13 of 19 passes, drives them down the field twice, and looks pretty efficient. Going into this Saturday's game, Hootie, Mike London has said that both guys will get snaps. I mean, how big is this game for those two individuals as we head into spring and the next season?
I think very big, actually, Andrew, because like you said, the fans, as most fan bases do, when one quarterback's not getting the job done, they always want to see the other guy. But I think it's Lambert's chance to show what he can do. I'm sure that they see it every day in practice and analyze it on tape that night, but still there's nothing like performing under fire and against a really good defense, which may be the best defense that Virginia will see all year. So I think it's going to carry some weight into the offseason and spring just to see if we do have a quarterback battle and how good Lambert is, how he can handle those kind of pressure situations. And I think one of the big thing is if he can play and not turn the ball over against Tech. Meanwhile, for Watford, same thing. He has a chance to solidify himself going into the off season in spring if he can put together a good performance and not turn it over and move the ball down the field.
Right. David Watford will start, as Mike London talked about at his Monday press conference. He will be making his 12th consecutive start this season. He's been the guy all year, but obviously, as we documented last week and now today, there's been a lot of ups and downs. I think the disappointing thing is you thought he had turned a corner a little bit against Georgia Tech about a month or so ago, and then since that time, in games against Clemson, North Carolina, and Miami, there just hasn't been any improvement. And I guess this is kind of Grayson Lambert's time to shine. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. That will do it for this segment. An upcoming segment, we will kind of break down the battle between the Hokies and the Cavaliers.